Welcome back to the DA Sports Podcasting Network. As always, my name is Doug. Andrew, what's going on, man?
Ooh, nothing much. How's things with you, man? I'm telling you, Crown Jewels this weekend. Be
By
a
the time
big
you
one.
by the time you guys are hearing this, Crown Jewel is either just about to start or it's probably already going on.
Yeah,
Um,
you never really know.
but yeah, no, it's I mean, say what you will about the premise of the Saudi events. They always put on a great show when they go over there.
Yeah, they really are. A lot, definitely a lot more. Like, I mean, yeah, okay. People say it is blood money, but
It totally is blood
same.
money. It's
Well,
not.
yeah, but you know what though, too. It's if you take away that, there just want to watch some wrestling. That's good, pretty good wrestling. That's all you got to worry about. Like,
For
don't get
sure.
involved in religion. Just don't. Just stay away from religion. Just stay
What
away from it at all. Just enjoy the wrestling part.
I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like
So
the spot.
So last weekend
Yeah.
was the Tyson Fury Francis Ngannou fight.
Okay.
We'll get into that at the end of the show, but
Absolutely.
Vince McMahon was there with the Undertaker.
I did, and boy, did he look crippled.
Well, he just had back surgery
Still looks crippled.
to his defense.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't look good at all. Taker
No.
looks decent.
Well, listen, he's had both hips replaced.
Oh yeah.
But he did an interview for I have no idea what site it was because I don't even think it's aired yet. But he was quoted in saying that Saudi Arabia is the quote unquote new home of the WWE.
Vince McMahon needs to stop smoking so much reefer. Seriously, or
Listen,
whatever the hell he's doing, because
if
it's ridiculous. It's not the home.
listen, I enjoy a good you know, reefer cigarette more than just as much the next guy.
That's fine. I'm just saying, in general, he needs to stop doing whatever he's doing. Doesn't I don't give a shit if it's reefer. That's fine. But like, if he wants to, like, maybe it's meth. I don't know. Could be anything. But that man needs to stop doing what he's doing. He got kicked out for a reason. This is part of it.
You think the Saudi deal has something to do with that?
What Saudi deal? Yeah, I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I know for the fact, like if you're sitting there saying it's home now, he could probably just be pulling legs just to like, amp up the show or stuff, make it more exciting for them there,
Right.
or he's actually serious. And if he's serious, then New York should have something to say about that because New
Oh,
York is the home of WWE, no matter what.
always will be.
Always will be.
I don't.
New York and Montreal and Toronto will always be the homes of the WWE. That's a fact. Prove me
So
wrong.
also coming up on this episode, we'll talk Dynamite, we'll talk Ric Flair being
Oh,
74 years old and signing a multi-year deal with
oh,
AEW and being cleared by his doctors to bump and wrestle
oh,
and him immediately calling out MJF.
oh. Ric Flair taking bumps at 71 years old is like my mother taking bumps at 71 years old. It doesn't work out well. Oh, God.
If anyone watched Ric Flair's last match,
I swear to God, he fell asleep.
last summer, yeah, that man belongs nowhere near a wrestling ring.
No,
But we'll get into that.
his beautiful,
Uh,
lovely daughter should fucking say something.
will and we'll touch on something that's a bit closer to home. There's a indie promotion run by AEW superstar, used to be run by AEW superstar Ethan Page in the Hamilton area where you are at,
Yeah,
called Alpha One.
trying to take his forever
Uh,
over
so
that.
So he actually announced on his YouTube page yesterday or Thursday, or sorry, Wednesday night that they were coming back in 2024. So, I'll talk a little bit about that, and like that's pretty cool. I have a friend of mine who competed there for many years. That one day I hope to get on the show. Um, hey, gotta shoot my shot, right?
Absolutely. I think he'll have no problem doing it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move
So
to Crown Jewel.
absolutely. Crown Jewel is
Yeah.
this weekend.
Yes.
Uh, So you have the card in front of you.
I do.
Let's go through it.
All right, first off, we're looking at Sami Zayn versus JD McDonough.
So This basically is JD McDonough trying to court more favor with the Judgment Day. He's kind of been like loosely aligned with them for the past couple of months. I don't know if they're ever going to make him a full-fledged member. I think he's literally playing the Sami Zayn role
Yes.
that Sami Zayn played last year with the Bloodline.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in that.
Yeah, and
It's just not as exciting.
And I think with Kevin Owens getting moved to SmackDown as a result to Jey Uso going to Raw,
Yeah.
I think that opens things up for us to really explore that babyface Sammy run that we got to experience a little bit earlier this year, leading up to Montreal.
Yeah,
and Elimination Chamber.
I'm not gonna lie, I like Kevin back on SmackDown.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Kevin Owens in general. I'm just a big fan
yeah.
of Kevin Owens, or Kevin Steen, or whatever you want to call him. You know, Kevin Steen was in Ring of Honor. Like, I'm just a fan of Kevin Owens in general. Like, the guy's he just likes to do wrestling. That's it. He doesn't. He wants to make good matches, cut good promos, and have fun. That's it.
I'm convinced that Kevin Owens is the only person that actually pays attention to the continuity of the show.
Yeah.
And he constantly brings it up in his promos, and it's some of my favorite stuff.
He has some of the best pros in business. He's up there as one of the probably I don't know. Maybe I'm being generous, but saying maybe top 10 best talkers right now in wrestling. I mean, that's maybe being like
stuff like that is very subjective.
It is.
There's no like objective stat or anything like that you can look up to say one way or the other.
Yeah. I mean, unless it's like MJF, in which case the consensus is very much
MJF, I think, is the consensus best talker in wrestling right now.
Yeah.
But
I think being generous with 10, like top 10.
We're not talking about Kevin Owens right now. We're talking about Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
So I think that Zayn showed really good babyface fire leading up to that match with Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
After the turn at Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Now that story itself was really hot, and I mean he cut a really good promo on Monday.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are looking at him as maybe a Rumble candidate.
Right now, with the Rumble, I mean, the Rumble's still another, month and a half, 2 months away. Like,
probably about closer to 3 months away.
Yeah, but it's going to be here fast. And yeah, I can see him as a Rumble candidate winner for sure. I don't see him winning it, though. I think that's still reserved for Cody again.
No,
I mean, who knows? Who knows? I mean, it's still, I don't know. Like, it's Cody or possibly an LA Knight, but we'll get to LA Knight in a second.
I can see, like, I mean, this is kind of a way too early production type deal, but I could see Gunther winning it, going after whoever's the world heavyweight champion.
I'm okay with that.
And then if you still want to do Cody and Roman, you have Cody win the Elimination Chamber in February.
In Perth, Australia.
In Perth, Australia, yes.
Perth, Australia.
And you have Cody you have just Cody go win the chamber or something to set that up.
Yeah.
But so who do you got, Zayn or McDonough?
I'm going Zayn. I just can't see Zayn not winning that match.
I want to say Zayn,
right?
But something tells me that Finn might get involved.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you taking JD?
Yeah, I'll take JD.
We'll take JD. We're gonna find out which of us are better at this one.
And listen, on our next wrestling episode, we'll actually go back and we'll see who's right and wrong, and eventually we'll come up with like funny little challenges for the loser.
Oh, I hope so. I'll shave my own head on live TV. It's okay, do it now. Next one.
On TV, we're on the internet.
That's true. Internet TV, whatever. Anyway, back to the show, folks.
What's up?
Cena versus Solo.
So 2 weeks ago, Cena cut that promo about he hasn't won a singles match.
Cut a nice one tonight too.
Since like, what did he say? 2019?
Yeah.
Or like 2018?
Like 2000 something days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, like, look, losing to Cena is not going to lose any momentum for Solo.
No, it's not really going to hurt Solo at all.
It's not going to hurt Solo.
If anything, it does him good.
Well, and we'll get to my whole standing on something like that, and it's kind of something that I kind of bitched at you at for about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I got a little upset with me on that one, but it's not really anything upset either. I just
But
laughed at it.
no, I think
Because what happens, I'm not wrong.
I I don't see a reason why you would bring that up and then not have Cena go over.
Yeah, I don't see. I see Mr. Hustle, loyalty, and respect winning that, like hands down. I think it's gonna be a good match. I think it's gonna be a really good match.
But you know what? Cena's
Hard hitting.
but I like this kind of like current Cena where he's like, I understand I'm not at the peak of my abilities anymore. And maybe we don't see like a regular, dominant John Cena. Maybe we do see what he was teasing leading up to SummerSlam 21 against Roman, where he just hangs in there and squeezes him with a roll up or something.
I think if part of me feels to John. Now I'm not gonna say he's gonna win the Rumble because I don't think that's gonna happen.
Oh God, no.
But John did say about 2 weeks ago on SmackDown when he confronted Roman Reigns.
Oh, when Roman
And
came
he
back
said, yeah, when Roman came back and said, I'm not here to challenge you because I
because I
haven't
haven't earned
earned
it.
it.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder a little bit there too. I mean,
If
I
they're
know
going to go back to that
if
match,
they may go back to that match. Now I don't know. I mean, I can see it.
may
I can see Cena. Maybe Cena's the one that does beat Roman and then gets that time with Ric Flair. I don't
well,
know. I don't know. I'm just kind of spinning the wheel here. It's a
if
possibility. I
if
just don't think
if
it's good.
WWE wants to get petty because Flair signed with AEW, I guess I could see that happening, but that completely wastes a 3.5 year story.
It does. Same time too. Vince is like we said on our last wrestling show. Um, Vince is no longer in creative anymore, and if Vince wasn't creative right now, that would happen,
100% it
hundred
would.
percent. But
I
Triple H
think
isn't petty like that.
I think that you may see Cena as the Rumble challenger. Now, this is all
Speculation.
provided. No, this is all
Oh,
provided
oh.
the SAG strike continues.
I thought it ended.
No, the writer's strike ended,
Okay.
but the Screen Actors Guild is still on strike. And he went on record after Fastlane at the press conference.
Mm-hmm.
He said that once that strike gets settled, he's gone.
Okay.
Because
So
there's too many people that depend on him with projects that would
okay.
be out of work because he's off doing this.
Yeah, he's probably doing the full. Is he doing like Peacemaker season 2?
I can't confirm nor deny
I can't
that.
confirm that one. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Anyway, Cody versus Damian Priest.
So we're both taking Cena on that.
Yeah, I think our guys both down for Cena. I don't
Okay.
see us not. I don't see Cena not winning that. Cody versus Priest though. That's an interesting one.
Look, I think if you want to solidify Damian Priest as a credible threat with the briefcase, I think he needs to beat Cody.
Okay, and I can understand that. Is that what you're picking?
I'll say Priest.
Okay, you'll say Priest. Okay, so now here's my counter to that.
Okay.
I understand where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
100%. I'm not saying I disagree at all. I think it's a smart thinking. But here's my thing though too, because later on down that line, Terry, that night there too, I could see Priest losing to Cody. To be honest with you, Cody losing to Priest will do nothing to Cody. It'll elevate Priest if anything if he wins.
Yeah.
But if he loses down the line with that in this match later on down the line, because we have it on here too, is that Seth Rollins Drew McIntyre match. I've been saying for a couple times now too on our show that Priest might cash in on one of those two at this event.
So
I
so
don't know though, But I'm gonna take Cody, and when we get to
What
that, I'll
I
let you what I think is gonna happen.
what I find hilarious here is how nobody has ever even gave it a thought that Priest may cash in on Roman. Nobody has given that even a simple, like, I have not heard that from anybody. Every fantasy booking type scenario I've heard with Priest in this contract is he cashes in on the world heavyweight champion.
I think that's because, well,
Again,
no offense to Priest. Priest is here.
Roman's in the stratosphere. I get it.
Right. And it's kind of like here's Earth. This is Priest. Roman's like way in the nebula area. Like just in God mode.
I get it. But at the same time, it also goes back to what I was just saying about Cena.
Yeah.
If you pull the trigger on Cena beating Roman for no reason whatsoever, at least Priest would have a reason because he has money in the bank.
Well, Cena's reason would be just to get the whole Flair thing. But we've already talked about that.
Yeah, but I think that, I think it would just waste the payoff of a 3.5 year story. I think like the guy that beats Roman now has to be the right guy. Otherwise, you wasted 3.5 years.
Well, they still don't think they found the guy because Cody could have had it last year at Rumble at Mania. He didn't.
I think
could have done it much job with Zayn. He didn't do it.
I think it's because that they want to kind of reshape the history books a little bit.
Yeah, I think they want to get surpassed. I think they want to surpass
Hogan.
I think if they surpass Hogan, I think
he won't. He won't.
They're not touching San Martino. It's not happening.
I was thinking Backlund.
How long was Backlund? 4 years?
I think his was like 4.5. Hogan's
had several.
Hogan's first one was like 4+ years.
Okay.
It was like 1,400 days or something like that.
Now, if you're liking this right now, comment down below, subscribe, go from there. But let us know in the comments is for sure. So who you think, or which one's us wrong? Is Backlund longer, or is Hogan 4.5 years or not?
No, so it goes San Martino, Backlund, Hogan, and then Reigns.
I thought it was Pedro Morales.
No, Roman passed Morales back in May, I believe.
Okay. Anyway,
right before Money in the Bank, I believe, or right after.
Oh, okay.
He passed back Morales.
Okay.
So
yeah, we'll see.
So yeah, I'm taking Damian.
Yeah, I'm taking Cody. And we'll see what happens with that one. So, match tonight contender, probably going to steal the show. Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio. Probably going to steal the show. Because every time we've seen this guy, Logan Paul, do one of these shows or just do a show in general, it's really good. Like to the point where he should almost do this full time, but it's almost like a spectacle with him. Almost like
the fact that this guy's so good and he only wrestles like 4 times a year blows my fucking mind.
It's kind of like a Reigns at this. Kind of like Reigns on wrestles 4 times a year.
Yeah, but
Reigns been doing it a lot longer though.
Reigns also wrestled full time for like 10 years.
That's true.
He wrestled full time, not including injuries.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
4.5 month break he took because of leukemia.
Yeah,
but he was full time for 4.5 years, or sorry, 10 years.
Yeah,
he's kind of slowed down the last 2.5.
Yeah,
it's really been since like the beginning of 22 that he started slowing down.
Yeah,
but Logan Paul and Rey Mysterio. Now, I think that they do pull the trigger and give Logan Paul the U.S. title.
Yeah.
And the way I think they're going to do it is I think Santos Escobar turns on the LWO.
I think that's been coming for a while.
Yeah, they've been teasing it.
Yeah,
They've
I
been
guess
teasing it. They've
I
been
got.
teasing it.
I can see Escobar definitely turning because I'll be honest, I don't think this LWO really is going anywhere. I mean, it's really cool. Like if you're in Puerto Rico, and it's like you're a really big fan favorite. I don't think anybody really cares unless you're in like a heavy Latino area
Yeah.
of the country. I just think that's how it's better
To
off.
me, so here's the thing. As somebody who grew up a WCW guy, the LWO legit lasted like fucking 4 months.
Yeah, it
Okay.
wasn't.
It was a,
It's surpassed longer now.
it's like the original LWO was basically just like every cruiserweight that was from Mexico. And like, and it was like basically because I don't know, Nash kept punking out Mysterio. I don't even remember why the LWO formed. But
It was almost like a gimmick because of the NWO, right? So everybody's like, "We'll do the
right, right.
LWO. We'll do this WO."
Well, I mean, to be fair, there was the Blue World Order too
Yeah,
in ECW.
yeah,
Which, by the way, some of the best wrestling content on YouTube right now is Steven Richards.
yeah. He's
Okay.
uh he's coming back slowly. Um,
I don't think he's
I'm
coming
not
back,
saying
but
wrestling. I'm not saying wrestling. I'm just
I
saying in
think
general.
his analysis and stuff like that he provides, and um he provides great insight on things that most people don't think of.
Yeah.
So like definitely go check out his stuff.
Mm,
So yeah, put me down for Logan Paul with the Escobar turn.
with Escobar. I'm gonna say Logan Paul. I don't think he really needs it, but it's gonna be an event. Because I don't think Ray really needs it either. Um, Io Sky versus Bianca Belair. I
I hope that Io Sky beats her clean, and
yeah,
it finally solidifies Io Sky as a credible champion, because
yeah,
I am so sick and fucking tired of that title going all the way right back to Bianca Belair.
yeah. I've never.
I love Bianca Belair.
Yeah,
Okay. I think she's an incredible performer. I enjoy watching her matches, but her being champion has kind of grown stale on me.
yeah. Well,
And they've literally done nothing but put EO in the background
yeah,
of Charlotte and Bianca
yeah,
since Charlotte came back.
yeah. I've never. You know me. I'm not the biggest. I'm not saying anything about her talent or any of that stuff at
Yeah,
all. I just don't like the character of Bianca Belair. I just find it like I'm sure she's a very nice person in real life. I'm sure she's a fantastic individual. I
sure.
just don't like the character. I didn't like it in NXT. I don't like it now. I just don't like it. Simple as that.
Right.
It has nothing to do with her as an
Not your
individual.
cup of tea.
Just not my cup of tea. It has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that I just
Sure.
don't like the character.
That's fine.
Um, and I think Io Sky is definitely getting the shit end of the stick right now.
Hmm.
I feel she is better. Her run as NXT Women's Champion was really, really, really good,
Yeah.
and maybe considered underrated a little bit compared to say
Do
Shayna
you
Baszler.
do you remember now? Correct me if I'm wrong, but was she not NXT Women's Champion when we went to Takeover in Toronto?
No, she was not because she didn't get the title I think till during the pandemic.
Okay, because I remember seeing her. Was it her versus Mia Yim?
No, her versus Candice LeRae
LeRae.
in
Okay,
Toronto. That
right.
was a good match. That was a really good match. That's when she really guys first went to the whole different crazy kind of look before she was the whole
So
Empress of the Sky shit.
I remember seeing Mia Yim in the title match,
Mm-hmm.
and for some reason my brain has put Io Sky there instead of who was the champion at the time, which I believe was Shayna Baszler. But
I think she was actually the champion at the time. She had her long run. And
yeah,
speaking of Shayna Baszler, good segue into there, Doug, because we're gonna move right into that 5-way for the women's championship, Rhea Ripley's title. We got Ripley, Jax, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Raquel Rodriguez.
as much as I want Shayna Baszler to win
She's
because
the only one other than Ripley that I want to win.
I think I think all of us have been kind of clamoring for that for that Shayna Baszler that we saw held the NXT title for over a year.
I'm thinking with Triple H in charge now, that's going to happen. It's just going to take a little bit of time. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Just saying.
And I mean, it's been such a lackluster run from Rhea outside of the Io Sky match.
Well, I think Rhea is just more
And you
focused
know
on the
what?
Judgment Day stuff.
There I go messing it up again because Io Sky was against Bianca Belair
Yeah.
at Backlash, not
Yeah.
and Rhea Ripley was against Zelina Vega.
Yeah. Yeah. Rhea, I think.
Sleep more, ladies and gentlemen, sleep more, and don't record podcasts after 13-hour work shifts.
Fair enough. I think Rhea. I want to say Rhea holds that title until Perth, or wins it at Perth again. I think if she loses it here, and she doesn't regain it again until Perth, Australia, at Elimination Chamber, because that's in February, just before WrestleMania.
Yeah, that would be like a homecoming for her,
Yeah,
right?
because it is in Australia, and she is Australian.
I wouldn't mind. I honestly, I wouldn't care if because the women's division on Raw is so weak, so weak,
Yeah, it's
and I mean it's not for a lack of trying, but like Rhea's fucking, she's completely just
she's cleaned it out.
demolished. She's demolished everybody.
Yeah, there's nobody credible except for Shayna Baszler. She hasn't really had a match with her.
She hasn't had a one-on-one with Shayna Baszler yet.
Not on the Raw roster. She did one. She won the title off Baszler.
I know in NXT, yeah,
but she hasn't done one on the main roster yet. I think
that was the weekend. That was the week that Rhea Ripley was made, man.
Yeah.
I remember that quite vividly.
Yeah.
She went into War Games, had a killer performance, won Survivor Series for NXT, and then that Tuesday she won the title from Baszler.
Yeah.
I think that was but yes, on the main roster, no. But I think that this new presentation of Shayna Baszler, I think that would make for the best match Rhea's had since WrestleMania.
So who are you taking the 5-way then? You think it's gonna be Rhea? You thinking Rhea?
Rhea.
So you're taking Rhea. I'm gonna take Mommy as well because I could be wrong. I know if Mommy loses the title here, I hope it's to Baszler. I really do. And let Baszler have that run. Then when they do that
the
match
title
again,
away from Nia Jax.
Yeah. I don't think Zoe Stark's ready for it. I don't think Raquel Rodriguez is big enough at this point yet to do it. So leads us to our title matches. Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. Now, I said this earlier, and I think if Priest loses, Priest cashes in. So I'm going to take, but I don't know who I said was going to win. And I think he's going to cash in on. I want to say Drew, just to do a full heel turn after that. I'm taking Drew.
So they've really, really done a good job of building Drew up in this program against Seth. I mean, I think that if anybody was done dirty by the pandemic, it was Drew McIntyre.
Yeah. I say bring back the Scottish Psychopath. Loved it.
Just because you want it doesn't constitute we. Who the fuck is we?
We as in the people.
Listen, here's the thing. If you have seen the things that like the video packages they've put out, there was one particular one that they put out on Raw, something to the effect of Drew mentioning no more broken dreams or something like that.
That's a reference to his old theme music.
Yeah. If he brings that back, there ain't no way that man's losing.
I don't know. Who's your pick then?
You know what? Give me Drew.
You taking Drew too?
And just to, I know I picked Damian to win. I don't think Damian cashes in at Crown Jewel. I think he tries to cash in on Monday.
We'll see. We'll have to see.
We'll have to see.
Final match of the card. I think it's a pretty much large consensus here that it will be a tribal chief that wins.
Look,
I don't see Knight winning this at all.
I said
if he does, great. I just don't see it happening.
Pardon me. When this match was first announced, and we talked about it on this podcast.
Yeah.
I said that there's not a hope in hell that LA Knight wins.
Yep.
I still stand by that.
Yep.
I do.
Yep.
But, and it's funny because the writing this year has been so good at times and so bad at others. But what they've done a really good job of is building up challengers for Reigns where you have that seed of doubt that maybe they are the one. You've seen it with Zayn. You've seen it with Zayn in Montreal. You saw it with Cody leading up to WrestleMania.
Cody was the most obvious one everybody thought. I don't think everybody took Zayn to win it.
You saw it with Jey Uso leading into SummerSlam. And now you're seeing it with LA Knight leading into Crown Jewel. Okay? Where you have reasonable doubt to believe that maybe Roman may actually lose the title. Do I think it's actually going to happen? No.
I don't see Roman losing that title, not on Saudi soil. I just don't see it happening.
I don't think Roman.
It has nothing against the Saudis. It has nothing against the Saudis.
I don't think Roman loses that title on any show that's not named WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think he only loses it at WrestleMania, and that's it. Unless something happens and they have to call an audible.
If the rumors are true and they want him to surpass Hogan,
yeah,
that would mean that we're looking at WrestleMania 41 before someone beats Roman Reigns for the title. I mean, he has been pinned this year, which is new. That didn't happen for 3 years.
But that was also pinned in a tag match. So,
but he was still pinned. He proved he was beatable.
Yeah.
Right. So, Roman's my dude. I've always been one of Roman's biggest supporters. Like, even when the entire world hated him.
Yeah.
I always loved Roman Reigns, so I'm always gonna pick him. But I'm gonna give kudos to LA Knight and the build to this, the very short build, but effective build to this program, because LA Knight is so over right now.
Yes. So just to bring it for you full force, Hogan's reign is, because it is the third longest, as you said. So San Martino and Bob Backlund, right? Hogan's third. Hogan's is 1,474 days. That is 4 years and 13 days.
Which means Roman would have to hold it until early September next year.
Roughly, yes.
Because he won it at the end of August in 2020.
Yeah.
So in order to surpass Hogan,
yeah,
he would need to hold it, which means it doesn't matter who his opponent is at WrestleMania this year, he's going over.
Yeah, if rumors are true and that is the case of surpassing Hogan, just because of all the shit that Hogan's done over the past thing, and how much dislike he now has how much dislike he now garners for a lot of people, and they want to say bring that down a bit, then not till September of next year.
Which Kind of takes the fun out of it, doesn't it?
Definitely does. But we will see. You never know. Like I said, a lot can happen. Roman could get injured. He could do whatever, right?
So
A lot can happen. A lot can
we
happen.
will
Anything can
we
happen
will
with it.
kick off our next wrestling episode with a recap of Crown Jewel and see how we did on our picks.
Yeah. So right now we only disagreed on two, two matches.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
okay.
we'll have to debate those ones.
Well, you know what? I guess on our next one we could tee up Full Gear, which is next
We
weekend.
will. We'll tear
Yeah.
up full gear for sure. So
All right. So
we'll talk
moving
about the
on.
elephant in the room next. Not really. We'll really quickly. AW Dynamite, very lackluster, very boring, I found.
There was a couple of things that stood out to me though.
Yeah, the only thing that stood out to me was really the Edge joining Sting.
But we both saw that coming last week.
Yeah, I think everybody saw that coming. Everybody saw it was going to happen eventually.
But
There's no way that
it was,
wasn't going to happen.
you know what? Like, it's funny to see him finally, like, you know, spear Christian.
Sure, he's done it before though.
Oh yeah, he's totally done it before.
Yeah. Just in a different company.
Oh, because they've feuded a bunch of times, on and off.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it sets up that match for Full Gear.
Yeah.
We found out that much like All In, the ROH tag team titles defended by MJF will happen on 0 Hour against the Ass Boys.
Yeah.
And he will main event against Jay White. Unsuccessful in the 8-man tag.
There was something interesting that I have at AEW. I just remember now.
Wardlow?
No, the Wardlow thing's interesting, but I'm talking about the Ring of Honor
trios. Yeah,
trios titles.
The Bucks lost them.
Bucks lost those to Mobile Embassy.
Yeah, Mobile Embassy got him back.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And actually, Matt Jackson kind of going off on Omega and Jericho in the back.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting too. I mean, it seems to be like there's like a lot of
the elite always has some melodrama going on, man.
That is very true.
I mean, is very true. They're always setting up ways to end up in matches with each other, like literally.
It's very true.
And I think that kind of teases the Bucks turning heel again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Bucks are actually a better heel than they are face. They really are. They're just better at it.
100%.
They're very being cocky shits.
In terms of in-ring ability, I can't think of many tag teams that are better than the Young Bucks. But they suck as baby faces.
Yeah, some people just aren't good baby faces. That's just fact. Some people are just not good baby faces. You can't really knock anybody for that. Some people just aren't. Like Charlotte Flair is a good example. Okay, she is really amazing at being a heel.
Amazing heel.
At being a bitch.
Terrible baby.
Horrible. Like she's the kind of woman who is a heel but still gets cheered by a lot of people.
Much like Roman.
Yeah, much like Roman. But Roman's almost like that teetering part though, where he's like barely. He's supposed to be a heel, but he's more like it's like Undertaker back in the day. He was a heel, but he was cheered louder than other guys who weren't named Stone Cold or Bret Hart at the time, or Shawn Michaels.
I agree. But well, speaking of old timers, and actually,
old timers and the elephant in the room.
I do kind of want to touch on the Wardlow thing for a minute.
Sure.
So once again, it looks like if MJF gets past Jay White,
which I think he is,
it looks like Wardlow may be waiting for him at World's End.
So this would be a match that was been the worst for probably 2 years.
And so here's the thing, right? So you remember Double or Nothing last year?
Yeah.
Do you remember the whole fiasco surrounding that Wardlow MJF match? MJF threatened a no-show, and there was
Oh,
some
yeah.
sort of plane ticket
Yep.
involved, and it completely took away from the match. And basically, the match started. Wardlow powerbombed him 10 times, and then MJF came out and cut that now infamous promo.
Yeah. The night at like the night on Dynamite. Yeah.
The
That was on that.
fire me you fucking Mark promo.
Yeah, that was on Dynamite like a couple days later.
Throughout that whole thing,
Yeah.
I may have said it to you.
Yeah.
I may have just said it online.
Yeah.
There's nobody that felt more like that I felt worse for in that moment than
Wardlow.
Wardlow,
Yeah.
because that was supposed to be his, like, that was his like Batista Triple H moment,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
You know, Batista finally turns, and then he beats Triple H for the title at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Wardlow finally turns, costs MJF against CM Punk
Yeah.
in the dog collar match,
Yeah.
and then he finally gets his hands on him at Double or Nothing after weeks of MJF just fucking with him. And it was a good payoff. It was supposed to be a good payoff, but all this outside shit, which that seems to be an ongoing theme with AEW, that
Yeah.
that
They need a little more organized.
I don't like. I can I get it. We all know, we're all in on it at this point, okay? But part of me just kind of wants my wrestling to be
Simple.
pro wrestling again. You know, leave the fucking dirt sheets out of it. Leave the backstage shit. I don't care who's sleeping with who. I don't care who has beef with who.
Yeah, I
Because at the
think.
end of the day, they all come out on TV and they put on an excellent performance.
Yeah, I
And
think AEW is
that's
just trying.
that's all I want.
I think AEW is just trying to be more WWE. I think they've slowly gone away from what they were when they first came out, and that was just a straight up wrestling show.
Mm-hmm.
And that's with a little bit of story here and there, but nothing too crazy. Now it's coming more and more story. You know, but we'll get to we'll talk about that on a future episode. I think we need to talk about this more in depth.
I'm calling it right now.
Yeah, I think we need to talk about it more in depth.
Wardlow will get a shot at the AEW
Of course he
title
will. 100% he will.
at either Winter is Coming
Mm-hmm.
or World's End. One of those two, I guarantee, will be main evented by Wardlow.
It's going to be probably Winter's Coming because you already stated last week that it would be Kenny Omega at World's End. So
True. Kenny Omega can have a second crack at it.
Yeah. So I think we'll see what happens there.
War-
But let's get to this one here because this one's going to be a little greasy. The elephant in the room, because we're probably not going to have that much time left in this show. Because let's get to it really quickly here. We still have something else to go over. Let's go to that Ric Flair.
Okay.
Please.
Here we go.
He came out on Dynamite a week and a half ago.
Last week he came out as Sting's gift from Tony Khan.
And now it's come out that he signed a multi-year deal with AEW. He must need the money again. And he is going to he's been cleared by his whoever doctor they have to be able to take bumps again at his age, at the age of ripe old age of 72. Now, 73. I already said it earlier on the show.
He's 74.
74 years old. So he's 3 years older than my mother.
Mm-hmm.
Taking bumps, my mother taking a fall, she's done for like 2-3 weeks. Ric Flair taking a bump at his age, no matter how safe that ring might be or how safe they may be for him, it's probably going to take longer. And quite frankly,
I'm convinced Ric Flair just wants to be the next person to die in a wrestling ring.
I think that's his goal. And I think his daughter and his sons, I think, need to talk some sense to him. He has wrestlers all around him, Stings around him, all that stuff. They need to talk some sense to the man. Hogan's smart enough to keep his ass out of there.
There's less than zero part of me that wants to see Ric Flair in a wrestling ring again.
No, if I wanted to see Ric Flair, I would have got that pay-per-view like a year ago. I didn't. I didn't want to see it at all. I don't care.
If I want to see Ric Flair in a wrestling ring, I'll just go on the WWE network and I'll just search Fall Brawl 95 and go watch my favorite Ric Flair match, which is versus Arn Anderson at Fall Brawl 95.
Yeah, like
it's a weird listen, it's a weird pick when you think about it, because I mean you have the trilogy with Steamboat, all the matches he had with Sting,
all the matches he had with Dusty.
All the matches he had with Dusty. You can even talk about the last
War Games matches.
The last match he had with Shawn. Yeah, the War Games matches. But no, like personally, my favorite match of Ric Flair's is Arn Anderson in '95.
Well, and that's just it, right? You want to remember Flair as a wrestler in a nice pure form, kind of like the Undertaker. Kind of like the Undertaker, right? You want to like. I'm a big fan of the Undertaker. I follow that man's career. When his last match, which was the movie match at WrestleMania during the pandemic, that was a great match. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it highlighted his strength still because he couldn't do as much as he could. I enjoyed the match thoroughly, and I like to remember Undertaker in that way, or in matches like against Edge or against Brock, right? Even when he lost this WrestleMania 30 to Brock, that was a better match.
He was concussed. He was concussed for half of that.
He was, but it was still a better match than that Roman Reigns one they did a couple years later.
Yeah, but I mean, if you've seen the Last Ride documentary, you'll know like he was not 100% going into that match.
No, he wasn't. But by the way,
he was far from it.
And by the way, if nobody out there has seen that documentary, I highly suggest you go watch it because it's right up there with Michael Jordan's The Last Dance.
Ooh,
it's right up there with that.
Ooh,
it's that good. If you're a wrestling fan and you're a fan of The Undertaker, I suggest you go see it.
And actually,
it's right up there with The Last Dance. It really is.
To be completely fair, I lasted 2.5 episodes of The Last Dance. I couldn't even watch the whole thing.
Oh, you sick man. I mean, it's like I said, it's a difference in generations, folks. I grew up in the 80s when Jordan was God. Still is.
He wasn't God in the 80s. He wasn't even God. He wasn't God till Pippen got there in 91.
He's still God. He's still God.
He was 1-9 in the playoffs until Pippen got there.
Still God. Doesn't matter. Even God had bad days. Let's just say. Anyways, let's get to our final story.
Hold on. You missed my favorite part about this whole Ric Flair thing.
Okay, let's go to Ric Flair. Last thing on Ric Flair.
He immediately had the balls to call out AEW World Champion MJF, who had a brilliant response on X earlier today. He quote tweeted that quote from Flair, and he asked him if he wanted to do a Buried Alive match.
Everyone's favorite scumbag, MJF.
I love MJF.
All right, last story. Ngannou versus Fury. Now
before we touch on that, I want to very quickly. I mentioned at the top of the show. So there is a indie promotion that ran in the 2010s here in local. I'm in Burlington, Ontario. Andrew's from Hamilton. It ran in Hamilton, and a good friend of mine went by the name of Justin Sane. Wrestled there many times. The promotion's name's Alpha One. Ethan Page on his YouTube account, I believe Wednesday night. Wednesday night he announced that they're coming back in 2024, which, as I've always said, the more opportunity people can work and get noticed and what have you, the better off and healthier the wrestling business can be. Right?
Not wrong.
So, I mean, like, I'm excited to see what kind of a show he puts on. I personally went to an Alpha One show in 20, I believe it was October 13. I went and uh and I mean, I saw Josh Alexander, I saw Ethan Page, I saw Michael Elgin, I saw my friend Justin,
Mhm.
who I believe had some sort of street fight with I want to say it was Brody Lee actually. Like, it's wild, man. Like, it's really cool to think back on. That's one of my fondest men's wrestling memories is that promotion, and I'm really glad that Ethan's bringing it back. We will
It'll be
have to go.
interesting to see what happens. We'll have to
We
go
will.
see a show.
We will have to go check it out.
We'll have to go see a show. My apologies. We were meant to go into that. My apologies. I hijacked the gun on that one.
That's okay. But
So
yeah, last weekend
last weekend.
we witnessed another robbery in the sport of boxing.
Robbery, yes, but in my humble opinion, unless the guy was ever going to knock out Fury, like knock him out cold, like to the point where he's sealing stars for the rest of his God-given life,
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't winning that fight. It doesn't matter.
I agree with you.
He was never going to win that. It's the same thing with McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. Unless he knocked out Mayweather, McGregor was never winning that fight.
Yeah, but Mayweather totally won that fight.
Of course he did. Right now, Ngannou
No, I mean, like that wasn't a robbery. Like McGregor didn't get robbed by any means. He showed flashes of brilliance, but Mayweather did what Mayweather does.
Yeah.
But I want to give Francis Ngannou props for two things.
So did Dana White.
For two things. Number one, he knocked down the heavyweight king.
Mm-hmm.
He knocked down the Gypsy King.
Mm-hmm.
His first ever professional boxing fight.
Yeah.
He goes in there against an undefeated heavyweight champion who, by the way, let me remind you, ended like an 8-year title run of Vladimir Klitschko.
And Klitschko was pretty dominant. I mean, mind you, boxing wasn't the same at that time, but still.
Listen, both Klitschkos were killers.
Yeah.
But Fury was able to finally dethrone Vladimir.
Mm-hmm.
And we've watched Fury over the last couple of years since his comeback just run through person after person after person. Mm-hmm. So for Francis Ngannou, who we all know is one of the heaviest punchers in MMA, mm-hmm. He was so good in that fight that people were setting him, like people were putting him in the top 10 heavyweight category in boxing.
You know, this is a slight prediction. Don't take any weight. You don't really have to. Because my opinion, it really doesn't mean squat. But we may come see a time where MMA fighters are becoming boxers as a second life, almost for a little bit. Mm-hmm. You can see guys, especially with what Ngannou's done, to do what he did to Tyson Fury. Yeah, mind you, he lost. But you may see this more and more. You may see. I mean, don't quote me on it, but you may see it more and more down the line, where guys who have heavy hands might go to boxing rings.
I would like to think that I have bigger understanding of mixed martial arts than you do in its current state.
In its current state, yes. Its older state, maybe not, but current state for sure,
In
yes.
its current state. If the goal of fighting is to A, be the best, and B, make as much money as humanly possible in a short amount of time, I don't think this was the last boxing match that Francis Ngannou has.
No, I think he has another one. Considering he's getting rave reviews from a lot of people in boxing and the MMA world, I can see him doing it again.
Yeah, I think that
I think he's done with MMA. I think he goes boxing straight up.
And you know
Possible.
what?
He's got heavy hands.
And you know what? He's calling out everybody. He's calling himself the lineal MMA heavyweight champion because he is. Yeah, he is. He is. Well, he was never beat. He was never beaten.
It's true.
He was stripped of the title because he refused to renew his contract.
Yeah.
And he was released from the USC. Okay. And so therefore he's still the heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
He was never beaten for it.
Yeah.
It's no different than back in the 90s when Randy Couture decided to go to Japan.
It's true.
Right? And they took the title off of him.
Yeah.
And then he came back and he won it again.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, even when Frank Mir lost the title due to a fucking bike accident and almost ended his career, he came back and he won the title again and held the title again for a while.
Right.
Right when Mir did it. Mir did it. I mean, Mir's just a freak. Right? I mean, like he's one of my favorite fighters of all time.
I don't know if you've seen recent pictures of him, but he has that problem where like one arm is significantly smaller than the other now.
Oh, that's very similar to Paul Orndorff had that same thing.
Yeah.
That's a nerve problem.
Yeah. He's dealing with that. I saw an interview of him with Chris Van Vliet.
Yeah, that's a nerve thing. Orndorff had the exact same thing.
And you know what? Frank Mir is one of my favorite fighters of all time.
Best heavyweight probably ever, to be honest with you.
Best submission heavybweight.
Okay, now sorry, I should more or less classify what I mean by that.
Yeah, he is the best. He is the best submission heavyweight I've ever seen.
Yeah, the guy broke through two guys' arms on live TV.
I mean,
one guy he did it on purpose. Nogueira. We did Nogueira.
Which one? Oh, Nogueira.
Nogueira was on purpose. I think like Tim Sylvia was pure accident, but like Nogueira was like he had Nogueira. Nogueira wouldn't tap, and he just said, "Okay, fine, fuck it."
Well, it's the
live on TV.
The thing about those Brazilians, man, it's like
they're tough fuckers, but dumb as shit too.
So like they take tap or snap way too seriously.
Yeah.
And like they refuse to tap.
Yeah.
So it often ends with a broken limb.
Yeah. Like I said, he popped Nogueira's arm like on live TV.
Listen, everyone expected Brock Lesnar to run through Frank Mir, and Mir.
He kind of did. They probably should have stopped that fight. The first fight? The first one? Fight?
No.
Yeah, the first one. He had Mir down and out. They should have stopped it. A lot of people
go back and watch it again.
I did. I've seen watched numerous times.
Go back
and watch it again. The second one was much different.
The second one, I agree with you. That should have been stopped like a round earlier. But the first fight, okay.
He was Mir's had the first fight for like it was Jello for a while.
No, he took him down, got a few rabbit punches in, stood back up, kept trying to get Mir to stand up and trade with him.
Yeah,
and Mir just heel hooked him.
Yeah.
He showed the inexperience of Brock Lesnar. But anyways, point being, like I mean, I think there's a world where Ngannou comes back to MMA, but I don't think it's anytime soon.
I think it's gonna be a while. A couple years maybe.
Like, I can only imagine the payday that he just got for A, fighting Fury, B, it was in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, yeah. Probably massive payday.
Like, we're talking probably 8 figures.
More likely.
We're probably talking 8 figures that man just made.
Yeah. More
Not
than like. Oop,
not bad for a guy from Cameroon, man.
very true.
You know. Anyways,
Thanks, folks.
that's gonna do it for
It
this
is.
episode of the DA wrestling portion.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't checked it out already, we have a special episode up on the feed that we put up on Halloween,
Yep.
talking about music in sports video games.
Videos now posted on that too for YouTube as well, folks. Go take a look.
Yeah. Yeah. And then our most recent episode, we were talking about the first couple of games of the World Series, preemptively talking about the NFL trade deadline.
Yeah. We definitely preempted that for you guys.
Yeah. But
still learning.
And we discussed the Adam Johnson situation where he tragically lost his life in a game last weekend.
Yeah.
So go check those out.
Mm-hmm.
You can Andrew, you're now on TikTok now, right?
I am on TikTok now at Andrew at DA Sports.
All right.
Really simple, really easy, folks. Not hard to find. I have a cat on there right now, so go ahead and take a look.
So if you want to see the funny antics of Andrew, go ahead, give him a follow on TikTok.
Weird antics for sure.
You can find the show as usual, Spotify, Google Podcasts, you name it, except for iTunes. We're still working on that.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this closing, and then I'll be like, including iTunes.
Yeah. Down the road.
You can find me, DLines 1991 on X. He's A Purcell 1982.
Links to Twitter, links to X and YouTube are on my Instagram, as well as the DA Sports podcast Instagram as well. Also linked on the YouTube as well from there. Also on X at DA Sports. Here's like, share, subscribe. Leave us a like, share, subscribe, folks. Every little bit helps. Enjoy. Have yourself a good night. This has been the Wrestling Podcast of the week. Bye.